So this is Ian Boswell. He's joining us from Switzerland. He's on the Botrager LiveStrong team. And I just wanted to talk to him today. We appreciate you for joining us, but we wanted to talk to you a little bit about what are you doing over in Switzerland?
I'm here now with USA Cycling, and we have the Tour de l'Avenir next week, which is the Tour de France for U23 riders. And so it's kind of the final big race of the year other than the World Championships. And got the team here and preparing and bonding with each other and getting ready for the race, which starts on the 26th, so next Sunday.
Now, is what are you trying to do in that race? Are you trying to get a result, or I guess you're always trying to get a result, but is that your guys' plan to try to win that race? You guys got this reputation that when the hill turns up, you guys get really aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, the Tour de l'Avenir is similar to the Tour de France in that every year the courses change and the routes change, riders change. This year's actually a really good course for myself and a few other of our teammates. Only one other American won the race. That was Le Mans won it way back when. And in the last 3 years, TJ Van Gardner was second there. And then Andrew Talansky was second there in 2010. So, it's a big race. It's by far the most, sought after result of the year for anyone, whether they're, American or European or the Colombian team won it the last 2 years. So it's, the biggest race of the year and definitely the most viewed race by all the Pro Tour teams and directors.
Now, you're 21, right? Because I just saw on your blog post that you were having your first beer over at Lance Armstrong's house. When did you start riding your bike, and did you sign to Botrager when you were 18, or can you tell me a little bit of history about that?
Yes, I'm 21 years old. I turned 21 in February. I was at a team camp down in Texas, so it was pretty awesome that Lance put us up and had my 21st birthday there and first legal year with him. But yeah, I've been racing since age 11, so 10 years now, which is quite a long time to be in sport, but it's kind of been a gradual progression. Each year it gets a bit more serious and a bit more involved, and now it's a full-time job and career. But yeah, I raced on Hot Tubes development team as a junior, and that was kind of my first real step. And I've been racing with USA Cycling since the age of 16, so I've been over in Europe since then. After my year on Hot Tubes, I went to Boswell Pro Cycling for a year when I was 19. Then the last 2 seasons I've been with Botrager LiveStrong, but throughout my career I've been also splitting time with USA Cycling and racing in Europe.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Where do you want to go with cycling? I mean, there's a lot of guys that, I talked to some of the older guys and they're like, hey, you should have went to college and made that decision. Tell me about how your feelings are on that. I know that when I was talking to Craddock Lawson, he told me that, when he gets in these dorm room situations, he kind of loves it because he didn't get a chance to go to college, and it's kind of reminds him of what it would be like. So tell me about how hard that decision was to make.
For me it wasn't necessarily hard. The first 2 years when I was racing on Bissell and then on Livestrong, I was doing college on down in Chico, and then during the spring I would do it online so I could travel and race. So you definitely, as a young male, you definitely miss out on some experiences in college and kind of that, college lifestyle and camaraderie. But I feel like you also fill in a lot with bonding with your friends and teammates. So it's never easy to miss out on something like that. But then again, this is an opportunity that we have that can't really be replaced. It's kind of the one time in your life when you have this chance to make it, and you have to decide whether you want to, if you want to do it. If you want to do it, you have to go, 100% into it, and you can't hold back or make any, ulterior second guessing of yourself and what you want to do. And there's some people that I know who've gone to college and finished degrees and are now in the Pro Tour, which is, for me, it's impressive to see them do that. I chose a different route, and I guess it just depends on kind of your development and how your body matures. Some guys are ready to move on earlier. Some guys need time to hang out and, enjoy before they get real serious about it. But for me, it was, it was clear what I wanted to do, and it wasn't too hard to make that decision.
Oh, that's cool. I was reading your Twitter account, and a lot of times before these races, you dedicate these races to certain people. And we did a story on you where You dedicated one of the races at Utah, and then I was reading back through your Twitter feed. Do you draw inspiration from finding things to ride for? Does it help you suffer in these races? Does it give you a reason? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
I mean, suffering is only temporary, and hold on one second. Larry. Oh, sorry, we have some other boys cheering on the Vuelta on TV. But anyways, I mean, we have a unique opportunity, especially with Botrager LiveStrong, to be able to, ride for something bigger than us. That's a big emphasis of the team, is to have, we are in the limelight, and we have publicity, and we have the opportunity to share our stories with other people. And I feel it's like something very unique about this team. We can share that, and I definitely take it to heart. And it is, a motivator and inspiration. You're out there suffering, and your mind gets lost. But when you can have something to focus on and realize, hey, it's, our lives aren't that bad, and there's people out there who are going through much harder things than us. That it's worth, worth suffering, and we're able to get out there and ride for something beyond just yourself. It's a cool experience, and not something I do all the time, but during special events or when something wonderful or tragic has happened, I try to show the people who are close to me that I care, and then I'm still thinking about them.
Yeah. Who's been most influential in your cycling career thus far?
I'm not to say over my entire career. I have to say my parents. They've always been there. Cycling's not a cheap sport, especially when you're young and not on a team. And there's always people who are there to help you when things are going good. But my parents, I really like to say, have been there every step of the way, whether things are going good or bad. And that's reassuring, and also a huge benefit to have supportive parents who understand what it takes, and that you got to keep moving up and looking forward and keep battling, and to have parents like that's fantastic.
What's it like when you're in the pro peloton there, and you have this target on your back because everybody's kind of watching you, because you and Joe Dombrowski, who I think is your good friend, you guys are super climbers, and you guys have nothing to lose, and the older guys in the peloton know that, and you guys just relentlessly attack them. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think especially in a race like Utah, where both Joe and I were up in Utah training the week or 2 weeks leading up into the race, we knew that our fitness was good just based off of how we were riding, how we were feeling, what our power numbers were. So based off that, you kind of know where you're going to sit. And the other thing is, I think our team has a lot more free reign than some of the other pro teams, where some guys are always working for someone else, or working for one guy in particular. The other benefit that our team has, and we kind of have this not element of surprise, but a lot of these pro guys, especially the Europeans, maybe haven't heard of us or don't know of our team. So if we do attack, or if we do go up the road or whatnot, they might not be as inclined to chase us down. Whether if it's Levi or Horner, it's gonna cause a bit of a some chaos in the peloton. People are gonna be a bit more in tune with what's happening. But if we go up, people maybe aren't so sure of our abilities, and give us a bit more of a leash and some time to play with, which is beneficial. But at the same time, it's kind of that time's coming to an end, because we are getting good results and people are learning who we are and things. So I feel like that time's kind of dwindling.
You're so mature for a 21-year-old, and maybe it's because of your circumstance. But how, if you were a guy that is 21 and you're riding at an elite level and you're wanting to get to your level, what makes Ian Boswell? I mean, what can you tell them? A couple little tips to maybe get them to the next level.
I think cycling is it's a team sport, but it's so individual. I look at someone like Dombrowski, who is, Dombrowski is probably the most focused and dedicated kid that I've ever seen racing. Myself, I'm focused and stuff when I need to be, but you got to do what's best for you. And I try to keep a pretty balanced lifestyle. I have a girlfriend back home. I enjoy doing other things in the off season, and I think the thing with cycling is it's a long-term sport. You look at someone like Horner, who's twice as old as I am. If I'm going to be racing for the next 20 years of my life, you have to keep a balance and keep it fun. The main thing is because it is a hard sport. It's a really hard sport to make it to the top level. And if you're not having fun with it, then it's really not worth it, and you're not going to succeed in the long run if you're not having fun with what you do. But that said, it's a serious sport, and it is probably one of the most difficult sports to make it to the top tier in. So you have to be focused, and you have to know what it takes, which, it's complicated. There's a lot of things that go into it with training and nutrition and resting and this and that. But then again, it's an easy sport. If you sleep, eat, and train, you're gonna do well. And the main thing is to not overthink anything. Just try to enjoy every step of the way.
Yeah, that's very good information. What do you have any pressure on you? I mean, you're one of you are the future of the sport as far as I'm concerned, and so that might put some pressure on you in the long run, because I mean we're talking now, but in 10 years I'm still going to be watching you ride and win these races hopefully. So does that mount any pressure on you? I mean, being that next guy everybody's looking at.
I think there's always pressure from the outside. It's just whether how you take it or not. I think for me the most pressure comes just from within myself. That I do cycling because I enjoy it. I like it. I'm not doing it. No one's forcing me to do it. So this pressure is coming from within myself to do well and to keep improving and making these steps upward. I don't think that on our team we have too much pressure for results. Because on our team we have we have the chance to make it versus guys who are on pro teams are having to get these results. So we're handed everything we need to get these results. The equipment, the race days, the directors from Axel, and it's up to us to make that step. And so the pressure really comes from yourself, whether you want to take these opportunities and put them to good use, or whether you maybe don't want to choose this as a career path.
Right. Good. One last question: have you had any career setbacks at this stage in your career?
Yes, I've had several setbacks throughout my career. I mean, cycling's it is a demanding sport, so people are always going through sicknesses and injuries. And I've had a fair share of some knee injuries, just with tendonitis and things, which just came from lack of paying attention to it, bike position or stretching, traveling. It's all things that I think is at a young age is good to learn, because you progress and you learn these things, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. Thankfully, nothing's been I've never been out too long, but I've had a couple knee injuries from tendonitis that I've been out for several months. But it makes you resilient and makes you come back stronger, and try to not make the same mistake twice.
Awesome. Do you have anything else to add, Ian?
Not really. No, just that cycling's a great sport, and I think that everyone should. My favorite thing about cycling is that everyone can do it. Everyone can go out and ride the climbs that we ride, and the suffering's the same for everyone. It's just the speed that's different.
Yeah, speed's a lot different. But we really appreciate you joining us today on cyclingillustrated.com.